I never owned a cell phone until the day Mrs. Eleanor Rodriguez pressed one into my trembling hands. Clara May, you're 80 now. The world's on these little screens. You'll want to see your great-grandbabies. I only wanted to see Ruth. It was a Tuesday in late October, the kind where the corn stubble glitters with frost and the Amish buggies leave silver tracks on the back roads. I sat at my kitchen table in the little brick house on Strawberry Street, sipping tea weak enough to read the leaves. The phone buzzed. One message from a number I didn't know. A photograph loaded slowly. My daughter Ruth, 32, in a plain gray dress and white cap, arms linked with a bearded man I'd never met. Behind them, a barn quilt of 8-point stars. The caption, in Ruth's careful handwriting, "Joined in simple vows before God and family, October 14. Family. The word stitched itself into my heart like a dull needle. I dropped the phone. It clattered against the oak table my husband Elijah planed in 1968, the one I'd covered with oilcloth so Ruth's crayons wouldn't scar it. The screen stayed lit, Ruth's smile frozen, until the battery died. The quilt I never finished. I raised Ruth in Philadelphia after Elijah's heart gave out on the factory floor. I cleaned Center City townhouses by day, sewed custom Amish-style quilts by night. Every dollar not spent on rent or oatmeal went into a cedar chest labeled Ruth's Wedding Quilt. I pictured a cathedral in Lancaster, sunlight through stained glass, Ruth in ivory satin, me walking her down the aisle in the navy dress I'd saved for since 1985. I stitched tiny hearts into the border, one for every year I'd waited. The quilt top was done. The backing, batting, and binding waited in the chest like unanswered prayers. The signs I ignored. Ruth met Jacob Stoltfuss at a farmer's market 3 years ago. She was selling her watercolors, he was selling sorghum molasses. Within months, she stopped wearing jeans, started speaking Pennsylvania Dutch, moved into his dotty house. I visited once. The house smelled of lye soap and disapproval. Jacob's mother, Barbara, inspected my polyester slacks the way I inspected bedbugs in the Rodwell guest room. "Ruth says you quilt," Barbara said. "Not a question." "I do." "Store-bought fabric?" Some heirloom." She hummed, turned away. Ruth whispered later, "Mama, they're plain folk. They don't understand city ways." I swallowed the heart. Mothers do that. The Tuesday that broke me. 3 missed calls, 3 voicemails. Ruth's voice light as thistledown. "Mama, I'm fine. We'll talk Sunday after preaching." "Mama, something came up. Maybe next week." "Mama, I'm sorry. I love you." Sunday never came. Instead came the photograph. I drove to the Amish phone shanty at the end of Gibbons Road. Ruth had given me the number for emergencies. A teenage girl answered, bonnet askew. "Ruth Stoltfuss? She's on her honeymoon. Try back in 2 weeks." Honeymoon. I hung up and cried in my Buick until the windows fogged. The cedar chest decision. That night, I opened the wedding quilt chest. The ivory satin I'd saved since 1985 had yellowed. I laid the unfinished top on the table, pinned a note in Ruth's old Crayola scrawl. For the daughter who needed simplicity more than her mother's dreams. I folded it, placed it in a cardboard box with Ruth's childhood dresses, her Sweet 16 photo, me in the navy dress, her in pink tulle, and every letter she'd written from college. I drove to the storage unit off Route 30, paid for 10 years in advance, locked the door. Heritage Haven. Mrs. Rodriguez's sister Gloria moved to Heritage Haven quilting community in Intercourse after her husband died. It's not a nursing home. It's a village for women who still have stories in their needles. I sold the brick house on Strawberry Street, the one Elijah and I bought with his VA loan in 1972. The realtor, a kind Mennonite woman, gasped at my price. "Land's gold now, Mrs. King. Developers want it for McMansions." Tell them the ghosts of quilts past come free. With the proceeds, I bought a cottage at Heritage Haven. 1 bedroom, wide plank floors, a porch facing Amish farmland. My new neighbors were widows, divorcees, childless aunts, women whose hands spoke fluent thread. The boundary quilt. First project, a boundary quilt, 9 patch blocks in black and cream. Each square a memory I would no longer carry for Ruth. Block 1, the night I sewed sequins on her prom dress until 3 a.m. Block 2, the hospital bill I paid by quilting for tourists. Block 9, the empty pew where I should have sat on October 14. I quilted it on the porch while buggies clip-clopped past. Mrs. Miriam Schwartz, 78, ex-Amish herself, taught me the Lancaster row stitch. Plain don't mean cold, Clara May. It means honest.
The letter that wasn't burned. 6 months later, a letter arrived, plain envelope, Jacob's handwriting. Dear Mrs. King, Ruth cries at night. She said she chose the life God called her to, but lost the mother who taught her love. The wedding was Barbara's idea, small, no English fuss. Ruth agreed to keep peace. She was wrong. Pride is a heavy yoke. There is a quilt auction at the Mud Sale in March. Ruth entered a piece. She hopes you'll come. No pressure, just thread between us again. Respectfully, Jacob Stoltzfus. I folded the letter into a tiny square, tucked it into the boundary quilt's binding. Not forgiveness, space. The Mud Sale. March mud squelched under my orthopedic shoes. The auction barn smelled of livestock and cinnamon buns. Ruth's quilt hung center stage. Log cabin pattern in blues and grays, the colors of her eyes the day she left for college. The auctioneer's voice cracked. Lot 47, Mother's Ocean. Starting bid, $200. Hands shot up. I stayed still. When the bidding hit $800, I raised my paddle. Once. The room hushed. Even the Amish men removed their hats. Sold to the lady in the navy coat. Ruth stood beside the quilt, eyes red, cap strings trembling. She walked over, hands clasped, Quaker style. Mama. Ruth? No hugs. We weren't there yet. She whispered, "The ocean block, that's the dress you wore to my graduation. I kept the scrap." I nodded. I kept the memory. You kept the fabric. Fair trade. The new pattern. I still live at Heritage Haven. My cottage walls are covered in quilts, some for sale, some for comfort. Ruth visits every other second Sunday. She brings sorghum molasses. I send her home with pecan pie. We speak of weather, of stitches, of everything except October 14. Last week she asked, "Mama, will you teach me the Lancaster rows?" I handed her a needle. Threads in the drawer. Start with honesty. Some quilts take years to bind. Ours is still on the frame. Black and cream, blue and gray, mother and daughter stitching side by side. Not seamless, but strong. And every night on my porch, I rock beneath the boundary quilt, watching Amish lanterns flicker like slow fireflies. The threads that once tied me to sacrifice now bind me to myself. Family isn't the pattern you're given. It's the one you choose to finish. The end.